Kamito, a high school student, is abruptly kidnapped by a bunch of large muscular men. They leave him off at the Seiken girls' school, which is solely for high-class noble females. To maintain their innocence, these girls have no interaction with the outside world. Kamito will be attending this school from now on, according to the polished head of maids, Miyuki, and they have already obtained authorization from his parents. The principal says that everyone in the school, from the children to the staff, is female. As a result, when these ladies graduate and enter the real world, they struggle to adjust. So they invited Kamito so the girls could use him as a model to learn more about commoners and lads. They also assumed he liked men because he spends a lot of time with other boys and rarely chats to other girls. Kamito responds that he is indeed straight. Miyuki cautions him that if Kamito is truly straight, they would have to chop off his sausage in order to protect the girl's innocence. Thus, for the time being, Kamito pretends to be gay. Kamito meets up with a few first-year females, including Ryuko, a nice and naive girl. Ryuko and the other females are taken aback by Kamito's casual demeanor and his smartphone. Kamito accidentally touches Ryuko's hand, causing her to swoon from the unfamiliar feeling. Suddenly, another female called Eika abducts him. As Ryuko and the others appear, Eika flees since she dislikes socializing with them for some reason. Miyuki shows Kamito to his new room, which has been meticulously reconstructed to resemble the room of his home. Right then, Eika walks in and is taken aback by the basic room of a commoner. She would also like to be the most popular girl in school. Eika, on the other hand, has a habit of speaking without thinking. She fears that the other girls would detest her for it, so she withdraws from them. Then she begs him to teach her how to be a true commoner, and the two of them form the Commoner Club right there. Their courses continue the following day. Ryuko proves to be a model student, succeeding in every topic and sport and earning the respect of both instructors and fellow students. Eika, on the other hand, is not as good. Afterwards, Ryuko says that they all want to be friends with Eika, but she avoids them all the time. They then eat in their opulent dining hall. Miyuki offers Kamito a cup of ramen, which all the other girls are captivated by because they have never seen it before. They treat the cup ramen as if it were precious. Meanwhile, Eika is dining alone in a hidden location. That night, the girls throw Kamito a welcoming party. It's a fancy party, complete with fancy attire, fancy dancing, and fancy music. Ryuko requests a dance, but Kamito is a bad dancer and knocks her unconscious. Kamito and Eika later launch the first activity of their Commoners Club. Eika spends the entire evening reading comics and believes that all ordinary high school students have superpowers. Kamito therefore pretends to show her how to halt time. He sits motionless, and Eika acts childishly, even lowering her skirt in front of him. She is going to kiss him when Kamito interrupts her and punches her. As Ryuko falls in love with him, she begins thinking about her marriage with him right in the middle of class. Kamito comes upon a young girl called Hakua sketching on the ground. She abruptly removes her clothing. Kamito is surprised, so he takes Hakua to a secure spot back in his room, where he dresses her and feeds her. Suddenly, she begins scribbling while removing her clothing. Eika arrives at the ideal time and misinterprets him, labeling him a pervert. Afterwards, he returns Hakua to her lab, where her maid informs her that Hakua is a kid prodigy. The formulae she scribbles all over the place are utilized to make advances in engineering, physics, and mathematics. As a result, the maids walk about photographing them. The large lab facility they are currently in was funded by one of Hakua's patent earnings. Kamito is set to leave, but Hakua has already developed feelings for him, which surprises all of her maids because Hakua is notoriously antisocial. Hakua may appear to be a youngster, but she is actually 14 years old, practically the same age as Kamito. Later, Kamito encounters a female named Karen, who unexpectedly swings her sword at him. She runs after Kamito, and in her panic, she slashes both the other females and Kamito's garments. So he forcibly stops her. Karen falls as she sees his sausage. After witnessing what Kamito accomplished, she begins to believe that all commoners are dangerous and powerful. As a result, she submits to him. Afterwards, Eika planned a party and intends to send out invitations by email. To do so, though, everyone must have a smartphone. Then Kamito requests that Hakua build phones for them, which Hakua agrees to. She sits on Kamito's lap, making Eika and Karen envious. The next day, Ryuko invites Kamito to a tea gathering, but he had to reject since it conflicts with his Commoners Club party plans with Eika. Ryuko and her pals begin to question if Kamito and Eika are having an affair. Ryuko, on the other hand, does not believe this and shouts at everyone to quiet down. All of her pals are stunned, and even Ryuko is taken aback. T, Ryuko's friend, tears up in class, and Ryuko herself does not show up. As a result, Eika proposes that her party serve as an opportunity for Ryuko and Ki to reconcile. So they start the after-school Commoner Experience Party, where these elite girls can do things that commoner girls do every day. Kamito introduces Ryuko, who is dressed like a normal girl, speaks in current female lingo, and uses a smartphone. Ryuko astounds everyone. They all obtain phones. She then apologizes to Ki, who accepts her apology. They pose for a photo together. Ryuko afterwards praises Kamito for organizing such a beautiful gathering for her. Nevertheless, he admits that Eika is the one who organized everything since she wanted to make friends with all of the females. She allowed Ryuko take her spot, though, because she needed it more. Ryuko sobs and rushes into Kamito's room, where Eika is reading a manga. She accuses Eika of being a filthy person, and they fight. Ryuko is enraged since she has always felt terrible over Eika's refusal to join them for no apparent reason. Ryuko is also irritated because Eika spends so much time with Kamito. Meanwhile, Kamito is preoccupied with their stunning thighs. Later, Hakua and Karen arrive to submit their Commoners Club applications. Ryuko also submits an application. Eika is opposed, and they are on the verge of another battle. Miyuki notices all the females in his room. As a result, she comes enormous scissors to chop his small sausage. Kamito, on the other hand, pulls out images of gorgeous males, claiming that he's gay. Kamito awakens one day to see Hakua sleeping nude next to him, so he swiftly dresses her and teaches her how to cook. They then sit down and solve riddles. Ryuko, Eika, and Karen are put off by Hakua's friendship with Kamito. They desire Kamito's undivided attention. Later, the school plans a field trip to a theme park designed to appear and feel like a typical commoner neighborhood. This is a significant event for the girls because they have never traveled to a typical city. They don't even know how to cross streets or shop. As a result, Kamito must guide the females. They proceed to McDonald's, where they must carry their own meals and wait in line. The girls are taken aback by the concept of self-service. This unique method of freedom excites the females. Kamito has already taught Eika how to place routine orders, but she freezes in dread. Ryuko is the first to go up, but she also freezes when she sees the varied choices. So Kamito goes up to the counter and orders some meals. Everyone follows in his footsteps and receives their meal. They then head to an arcade and test out the dancing machine. The other females are struggling, but Eika has prepared for this. She excels and instructs them. The girls are truly impressed by her. Kamito then notices Karen obsessing over a star-designed t-shirt and short. She is apprehensive, so Kamito convinces her to wear them since he can't take his gaze away from her thighs. Eika and Ryuko are placed in the same room that night. Eika is busy messaging her new pals, while Ryuko watches her with sadness. As a result, Eika requests that she edit an email that she is sending to everyone. Ryuko makes some recommendations, which Eika forwards to everyone. Eika is overjoyed the next morning as she has breakfast with her new buddies. Later, Kamito is taking a bath when Eika enters. Her buddies are also arriving, so she conceals him under her bottom. Kamito loses unconscious underwater and the other females depart for a brief break. Eika takes Kamito out and performs CPR on him. Kamito one day shows them an online compatibility test. They decide to put their compatibility with Kamito to the test. They begin with Eika, and everyone is waiting to hear the score. It's 80 points, and the woman thinks they'd make a great couple. Eika simply cannot contain her delight. Ryuko is up next. It's 90 points, and they'd make an excellent couple. Ryuko is overjoyed, but Eika is furious. They pass Hakua's test with 50 points. It's neither good nor terrible. The atmosphere in the room instantly decreases. They do Karen and receive no points. Kamito would supposedly die if they were together. But wait, the birth date he entered was incorrect. It is, in fact, 100 points. Predestined companions. Eika and Ryuko just cannot accept this, so they search for alternative websites that provide the desired results. Meanwhile, Hakua fashions a Kamito mask out of her food and creates a plushie of him. Her servants observe Hakua's desire to be noticed by Kamito and decide to bring the two together. Afterwards, Kamito informs the girls about maid cafes and how popular they are with males. As a result, the girls dress him in maid uniforms and treat him as their master. Ryuko sings to keep him entertained. Her voice is both strong and destructive. She's like Inumaki from Jujutsu Kaisen and nearly ruins the entire structure. Hakua's maid later invites Kamito to Hakua's lab. He gets to witness how she works firsthand. Afterwards, she brings him to the sandbox to play with him. The servants see their relationship and like the pair. They follow them everywhere they go to ogle the two of them. They make them eat from the same dish and use the same spoon and the same beverage. Kamito summons Eika to his room and presents her with a gift one day. It's a bright yellow outfit. He claims it's the next stage in making her more popular, showing her a photo of comedian Dandy Sakano and how well known he is. He also teaches her on some poses. Then he leaves to show the others. Kamito chases her and collides with Miyuki, squeezing between her smooth legs. Fortunately, she does nothing. Eika approaches Ryuko and proudly displays her uniform. Ryuko becomes depressed and envious, so Eika educates her as well. By the time Kamito arrives, all of the girls are dressed in yellow suits and striking the ridiculous pose. Ryuko's mother and brother arrive at school one day and ask to meet her and Kamito. Masayami, Ryuko's brother, is overprotective of his sister and snaps at Kamito right away. But Kamito claims that he is only interested in guys and places his hand on Masayami's shoulder, making him nervous. Ryuko's mother abruptly informs informs her that they have planned for her to marry someone from a wealthy family. She will return home today since she will meet her future spouse tomorrow. Everyone is stunned. Ryuko looks to Kamito for assistance, but he is powerless. Kamito isn't having it. Ryuko's brother appears out of nowhere and hands Kamito his email address. That night, Eika phones Ryuko to inquire about her plans. Ryuko confirms that she will follow her mother's wishes and marry the man she has chosen. Yet Eika does not want her to leave. She has grown fond of her and even misses their small squabbles. As a result, Ryuko acknowledges that she wishes to attend school alongside them. Eika vows to take action. As a result, they contact Masayami. He doesn't want his sister to get married either. They all leave school to break the engagement. Miyuki apprehends them, but she lets them go for some reason. The other maids assist her as well. Masayami arrives to take them up, and they go. They arrive at the boys' family's mansion, which is guarded by strong security guards. As a result, Karen goes in to fight. Her erratic strikes are effective against them. She uses her abilities to pull their garments off the rest of them. Masayami's personal martial arts instructor is up next. When the others rush in, Masayami holds off his instructor. Drones halt them, but Eika uses a shattered vase to knock them out. Barricades begin to fall around them, so they proceed to the control room, where Hakua hacks the system and removes the barricades. Then comes the mecha combat. Karen walks in sporting a new uniform, despite the fact that it appears to be a mistake. She stops the robot by herself, but she loses her clothing in the process. They eventually make it to the conference room. Tomito shouts that he opposes the marriage because Ryuko does not want to marry. But the mother claims that Ryuko has already accepted her responsibility, something a commoner like him would not comprehend. Kamito confirms, commoners like him may not comprehend how high society operates, but he recognizes that they are all members of the Commoners Club and are all friends. They spent time together and learned to understand each other while sharing their joys and sorrows. Then, as a show of unity, Eika begs the mother to consider Ryuko's decision, and they all make the stupid stance. Masayami makes a similar request. Ryuko takes the difficult decision to leave her family. Her mother, however, reminds her that only girls from wealthy homes are eligible to attend Seiken. As a result, she will not be able to return to school. Kamito invites her to live with him despite the fact that he is a commoner. Ryuko agrees. This arrangement is also acceptable to her parents. The family of the potential future husband accepts it warmly as well. Ryuko's mother says she may marry whoever she wants. She believes Kamito has just proposed to Ryuko. Kamito recognizes that his words did sound that way. Yet there are many who oppose this, such as the other females and Masayami. Several years later, Kamito reconciles with Ryuko and her mother, who forgive him for the mistake. For the time being, Ryuko rejoins her family and returns to Seiken School. Thanks for watching. Please make sure to subscribe and watch my other videos if you're into my content.